You are going to be visited by 3 ghosts tomorrow at noon.
God, tomorrow's bad for me, Lou.
See Bill Murray get Scrooged.
Christmas time, Gary. It's Christmas.
Oh, are you
We're
excited?
finally hit December.
You love Christmas time. don't you,
I
Russ?
love Christmas. Do you not see I love Christmas tattooed across my forehead?
Yeah.
You didn't read into that. You just thought, I picked it out of a book.
Yeah.
I just picked it off the wall. I was like, well, make up a phrase.
A Christmas face tattoo would be
It
interesting.
would be good.
Yeah.
That would be good. I got one little like.
I guess it's not really that weird. Like, dudes in jail, they get Catholic shit all over their face. Just like a real tough guy in jail be like, yeah, Holmes, I got Santa Claus. And it's like fucking
Candy
Rudolph
cane.
the reindeer on his face.
My nose goes right.
Right next to the 187. So, Scrooged was Bill Murray's return to acting after taking a 4-year hiatus following Ghostbusters.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and it's actually kind of an interesting story, Russ, because Bill Murray did Ghostbusters as a means to finance a passion project, which was a serious drama called The Razor's Edge. And so he stepped in to replace the late John Belushi in Ghostbusters as a way to get that film out.
Okay.
And Ghostbusters went on to be a huge success, while The Razor's Edge was a huge flop.
But he did make it.
He did
still
make
made
it.
Razor's
So I
Edge.
guess Bill Murray always kind of wanted to be a serious actor.
Sure. I
You
can
know?
see that.
Yeah, it didn't work out for him at first, but he kind of
Yeah, he's fallen into more.
Yeah, kind of doing serious shit.
Here and there, right? He still is always Bill, and he will fall into him being himself. But I think he's always varied in the different roles I've seen him in.
Yeah, he's a bit of an unlikely movie star. Like, he became huge through comedies. Not the best looking guy. He's charming.
He's pockmarked as hell.
kinda
His
pockmarked and
hairline
puffy, yeah.
is terrible. It's just, oh my gosh, just not a handsome
Yeah.
guy. To
I
look
love
at.
in Scrooge when he's playing his younger self and he still has the awful hairline.
Just so bad. It's like a mullet, just the curliest. It reminded me of my uncle, actually.
Just a college boy with a widow's peak. And Murray was frustrated over the failure of The Razor's Edge, and he stepped away from acting for 4 years to study philosophy and history at Sorbonne University and frequent the Cinématique in Paris and to spend time with his family and in their Hudson River Valley home. And
Hudson River Valley is in
New York.
France? Oh, okay.
No, yeah, he's in Northeast.
He's
I guess.
traveled all around the world. Wow. Must
He's
be nice.
probably a New York guy, I think. And then he has kids and shit. He was doing his family stuff. And then the only thing he really did was like a cameo in Little Shop of Horrors. And then Scrooge was his big
When did
return
that
to
come
acting. This is 86.
86?
Yeah.
Who'd he play in Little Shop of Horrors?
I don't remember. I think it's just a little popping
I
cameo.
remember
but
that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I watched Little Shop of Horrors.
Yep.
Scrooge was directed by Richard Donner, who was one of the most successful directors of New Hollywood.
So funny that they chose Donner.
It is an interesting choice.
When he did Lethal Weapon after this?
I think Lethal Weapon was the next year, maybe the year before.
Okay.
It was really close.
Okay.
But, this guy, he made blockbusters for decades, from the 70s until the 90s.
Yeah.
And on all accounts, this was like a big movie. Big director and a long-awaited return for a big star in Bill Murray.
Sure.
So probably a lot of anticipation for Scrooged. And Scrooge was released on November 23rd, 1988, and it was a moderate success.
November 23rd. Okay, so we're even in the holiday season.
Yeah.
Some holiday movies have been released in July and
A
stuff.
lot of them, yeah, especially back in
Surprising.
the day. It's like they didn't realize the holiday movie thing was a thing yet, but this one actually came out in November.
Smart.
And, it got mixed response upon its release from critics, who found it either too mean-spirited or too sentimental. And Scrooged, it was a big Christmas time cable TV movie. It's the kind of movie kind of became a cult classic.
This is how I've seen it on TV.
Me too. Yeah, I saw this on Comedy Central, which in the late 90s to early 2000s was possibly the greatest TV channel in the history of television.
Sci-Fi was pretty cool back when it was SCI-FI.
Sci-Fi was cool
some-
too, but they never had the original programming of Comedy Central. They
for
played
sure.
cool stuff.
They were able to show violenter content.
Oh, okay.
Surprisingly, it
I guess
felt
at night.
but no, Comedy Central. You're right. The original content, everything. It was a funny channel. You turn on Comedy Central, and it's just good content. Or at least it used to be.
It was great. The only thing I didn't really like about it was they would license movies and play them over and over again. So you'd see the shitty TV edit of Office Space 100 million times.
Yeah, that's true.
But Scrooge is a pretty solid PG-13 comedy. I think it gets pretty boring at times. It's not like a banger like Ernest Saves Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's a laugh a minute. This is kind of a little more sentimental. Again, he's not.
Yeah, I feel like I still have to give this one 3 stars, but It is kind of boring at times.
You gave Ernest Saves Christmas 3 stars.
I should have given Ernest 4 stars.
That I gave it 4 stars.
I regret this rating system.
Yeah, right. It
I really think it should be like a no or a go. I don't like the fucking.
Okay, so from here on out, it's no or go.
I
I'm
don't
still gonna do a De Niro scale, but that's him being like, yeah, or
Well, De Niro can just say no or go, I guess. But I don't know. I regret giving Ernest 3 stars. That's a 4-star movie.
It's a 4-star movie. If you haven't listened to that review, go back and listen to that because it's 4 stars. But anyway,
It's just, Ernest Saves Christmas isn't as good as a lot of the other Ernest movies.
Sure.
So I didn't want to overrate it.
Sure, but it shouldn't be in comparison to the other Ernest movies.
That's true.
It's a standalone. Imagine it was just a standalone thing, just like this. It was hard, kind of, to separate it. This movie. I mean, the point is, it's the same story you've heard again and again and again.
It is.
Right? Whereas Ernest Saves Christmas, I guess it's kind of similar to like a story you've heard before. You got to get a new Santa. But this one was like, it's Ebenezer. It's Charles Dickens. It's a tale as old as fucking time. It's like the story you tell at Christmas. In that song, we tell scary ghost stories.
It
and
also,
tales of
the Christmas Carol in general, it feels like Catholicism or like some sort of like myth that you tell poor people to keep them fucking working and happy. Like, you know what I mean? It just feels like real fucking upper class bullshit that you tell the poor people.
Because it's a story about a miser, like a rich guy who runs things. He's a dickhead.
Like, it's like you tell the working class, like, oh, you don't worry, you got kindness and love. You're better off than
this old guy with the money.
Yeah.
He's getting visited by ghosts and going on adventures. Meanwhile, you're starving with your family.
Yeah.
You're 17 kids and you're one kid who can't walk.
Yeah.
And
it's
great.
like when the Catholic Church tells you, like, oh, it's better to be poor and humble, and they live in a fucking gold city in Rome, and you're just like, all right.
I guess we'll just do that. Yeah.
But if it kept the plebes in line, Russ, it probably served its purpose, and
And here we are.
Here we are.
God bless us, everyone.
Yeah. But Scrooge does a lot right. It has a great cast and a great score by Danny Elfman.
Was it Danny Elfman?
Yeah.
The score was enjoyable.
And it feels a little bit like you almost feel like, is this a Tim Burton movie when you first hear that score?
Luckily, though, it's not too Burton-y. Sometimes you're like, okay, this just sounds like Tim Burton. This one was like removed enough where I wasn't like, oh, he's boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I like the score. The rest of the music in the movie kind of sucks, but the score is good. And, I think the reason the reviews were mixed is that if you go into this movie expecting a straight-on comedy, you're probably disappointed in Scrooged. And if you're looking for a full-on sentimental Christmas film, you might be turned off by the adult humor.
Sure.
So, they compromise this film, and then it's like they make something that really pleases nobody.
Right. I mean, you look at the poster, it's Bill Murray looking like a psychopath.
Yeah.
He's got a cigar. And
let's talk about the poster a little bit, because the marketing for this movie is just really trying to cash in off of Ghostbusters.
Is it?
Yeah. It's like a skeleton
Slimer.
and a ghost in the poster. And I think the tagline was like, this time he has to see 3 ghosts. So it's really trying to sell
only 3 ghosts instead of way more.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Oh, okay.
But they're really trying to cash in off of that Ghostbusters, fan base.
Sure. I mean, this isn't necessarily the beginning of celebrity stardom and selling a movie off the star as a star vehicle, right? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, I guess so. Also, I feel like the 80s, that's really when the sequel thing came in hard. There were sequels before that.
Sure.
But in the 80s, it was like, oh, you get a property, it's big, you keep churning them out.
Sequel, yeah.
And pretty much right after Scrooge,
Rambo 2.
Murray was
Rambo
back to
3.
doing fucking Ghostbusters 2, right?
Right. When did Ghostbusters 2 come out? Early 90s?
I think that was the next year.
Okay.
I think it was 89.
89, cool.
Yeah.
Well, good on him. Yeah, and then he's, been a
He was
star
pretty
since.
much like the biggest comedy star in the world this time, second to Eddie Murphy.
What about Richard Pryor?
No, Richard Pryor was done.
Yeah, by then? He was 70s? Early 80s?
I think in the late 80s, maybe he was still doing movies.
I feel like him and Gene Wilder paired up for 15 movies.
Oh, yeah, they did. But I don't think it might have ended around this time. I don't know how long that went on for. I don't know if Pryor did movies into the 90s. I think he was pretty fucked up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not sure about that.
All right. So Bill Murray, big
star.
Ghostbusters.
Second only to Eddie Murphy, who ironically was also from SNL.
Ah.
And kind of he was such a big phenomenon. He really,
Oh, yeah.
became
Still is?
huger than all of them. Yeah,
Come on.
I guess so. Yeah, he's been kind of out of it.
He's
for a
around.
bit.
I mean, he dropped out after
He
the
came
whole,
back with that Rudy Ray Moore movie,
Yep.
right? And that was okay.
The one about the
Dolomite.
My name is Dolomite. Dolomite. My name. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
It was okay. It was not nearly as funny as like a classic Eddie Murphy
Sure,
movie.
and there actually was very little conflict. It was like, oh man, we can't make this movie.
Yeah,
It's like, oh okay, well,
it's kind of a fucking biopic horseshit.
sure.
Yeah.
But again, it was a pretty solid performance. I chuckled a couple times, and it was way better than any of Murphy's previous, Eddie Murphy's previous films, like Meet Dave, where he like plays people in his head, or
I checked out, dude.
Norbit, where he plays his fat
people
wife.
have told me
and
that
a
like
skinny.
Norbit is not that bad. Like I should go watch Norbit. No, it's bad.
Maybe we should watch it.
Maybe Norbit would be good.
I remember
for the
seeing
show.
it, and it was like, oh, this is just like the jokes of the Eddie Murphy, the Clumps. You remember the Clumps? It was like, oh, we're fat, we fart.
It's like the Nutty Professor. He's trying to do a Nutty Professor, but this time it's like he's a skinny dork.
But this time I'm a skinny dork, and my wife's a big fat bitch. I'm a foot bitch, and that's the joke.
Dude,
Like,
the
what?
original Nutty Professor is a fucking banger.
Oh, it's good.
Dave
That one's
Chappelle as
good.
like the hacky black stand-up comedian in it is so funny.
Nails it. Yeah, that one is very funny.
Yeah.
I live on. Never mind. Forget about the Clumps.
So Scrooged opens with some parodies of network TV ads, the first of which is for a Christmas special starring Lee Majors, wherein a gang of gun-wielding terrorists attack Santa Claus at the North Pole.
Was kind of unexpected. I was like, wait, where's this movie going? It's a violent Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Which they're making now. It's not.
That's exactly my point, Russ. Lee Majors has to fight off them similar to like a Die Hard type action movie. And what struck me about this is that it's supposed to be a parody of how dumb TV was in the 80s, but now it doesn't play as a parody because Hollywood actually makes movies like this. There's a movie coming out for the holidays this year called Violent Night, which is pretty much the same thing as The Night the Reindeer Died, the Lee Majors parody from Scrooged.
Right.
And there was a movie like a couple years ago called Fat Man with Mel Gibson and Walton Goggins. So
Right. I did.
Hollywood has just literally gotten this dumb.
Yeah. We saw it in the movies, and we're like, you know what? That's a good idea. People actually want to see that.
Well, that's what's
People
kind of
wanna
smart
see
about
Santa.
Scrooge. There's actually some like good satire in Scrooge that has aged well. Like when Frank's boss tries to talk him into programming television for cats and dogs. Like, yeah,
they're
this is-
doing that now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that it seems ridiculous in the movie, but the fact that they are doing that now, you can download apps for your cat and your dog so they could slobber all over your iPad if you want. It's funny, but I think actually a big reason for that change and stuff is the refresh rate of CRT TVs wasn't fast enough for cats and dogs to really register the images. It's in a weird in between
Oh,
state.
is that what you got out of this, Russ?
No, this is a tangent. This is a tangent. But the reason they didn't really used to watch TV and it didn't interest them is because
They couldn't like see it properly because
it was smaller, and the refresh rate they just captured. They saw like a slow bleed of the CRTs turning off while the other interlace line was lighting up, and so you would just really see that happening.
Okay,
and
that
it
makes
would
sense.
like make the TV not make sense. But now we have super fast refresh rates, faster than cat and dog eyes can see, and so
They can
watch TV now.
Well, I'm glad for that, Russ.
Yeah.
But the thing that struck me is I find it interesting that like, the same time as there's like more homeless people than ever and people living under bridges, we're like making restaurants for cats and dogs and like making TV shows for them.
Yeah.
We care
Oh,
more
yes.
about like cats and dogs than we do about like people.
And infrastructure. I mean, you walk around these neighborhoods. We're living in Los Angeles, people, if you didn't know that. And there's a lot of people with dogs around in Los Angeles. Hey, if you live in Los Angeles, pick up your dog shit.
Right?
Just pick up your dog shit. I stop leaving it just on the middle of the. I understand if it's liquid all over the place.
Or
but
get
like,
rid of your fucking dog, dude. People who like just let their dog shit in front of my apartment building. It's like, just don't have a dog.
Yeah.
You're a lazy fuck. I don't know.
Yeah. People are irresponsible. There's too many dogs. There's too many cats. We need to make more apps for them.
Yeah.
I think is the point.
That's a very unpopular opinion. Like, oh, global warming's a problem. Let's kill all the pets. Why are we growing cows to feed all these fucking dogs?
Because I bet a tiny dog doesn't taste good, Gary.
I didn't say eat them. I said kill them and stop having pets. It's a fucking waste of resources.
Well, if you're gonna kill him, you might as well eat him.
Yeah.
Use the whole bison, you know.
I guess
Just
so.
like skin it, wear his moccasins or whatever.
But you know what I mean? Like
hat.
having pets is a huge waste of resources.
Yeah.
If we're gonna start
I would
getting rid
have
of
to
cars, and I think let's get rid of fucking everyone's dogs first.
Yeah. I mean, I
Hot
can't
take.
argue that.
Hot take. Get rid of all the dogs.
Every dog.
Yeah.
Dang. Dang. We just lost 1 trillion
We just
subscribers.
lost all of our subscribers. No, we love dogs.
No, your dogs are the best.
We got our dogs here with us. We like to bring our dogs to work, and they have bandanas on, and
Yeah, it's great. They sit under the desk all day and
They
whine
smell and we
every
love
time I
them.
leave the room.
fucking disgusting. things.
Actually, I used to dislike dogs. We had a dog when I was young. It was a little like Scotty looking pup, and it got hit by a car but survived. And after that,
shit.
it had some weird PTSD, and so like I don't know if it was fast movement or something just threw it off. And so when I was like 5, I like looked over the side of bed and it bit me in the face. And then from then on out, I had a fear of dogs. You know, just I couldn't trust them. I couldn't trust a dog to not bite me. When your own dog, who you've spent like your 5 years with, bites you in the face,
Yeah.
it's just.
So did you guys have to get rid of the dog?
Oh, it actually bit a couple of different people, and yeah, we did. We had to put it down,
word.
unfortunately.
It happens.
Yeah, but
How'd you put it down with a car?
well, yeah, just tied it to the back and drove off real
Just
fast.
let it loose on a NASCAR track?
Meow.
It's like its worst nightmare.
Traumatizing.
Yeah.
I got over it though. In high school, I had a girlfriend who had these 2 beautiful little like lassie dogs. I forget what those are called.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Bichon?
they're border collies. They're border collies.
Border collie. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Anyway, you'd lay on the ground and they'd just rub their face all over you, and you know I could trust them. And after that, dogs are cool. I'll trust a big dog. I'll goof with dogs. In fact, I feel like I have a better connection with dogs than I ever have. If you enter a room and you see a dog, and just treat it like a dog would, right? You can go over, and if you sniff its face and then you breathe into it, that lets it know you're having fun and
sniff
you're
its
playing.
ass and lick its balls a little bit.
Oh yeah, just drink out of its bowl.
Yeah.
And then when it gets near you, start humping everything around you.
Yeah.
People love that. Anyway, back to Scrooged.
Yeah, so the sequence with the fake ads ends in a boardroom, and we're introduced to Bill Murray's character, IBC television president Frank Cross.
Oh.
Yeah, who's the film's version of Ebenezer Scrooge. He's a miserable fuck. All his employees are scared of him.
Yeah.
He's making everyone work on Christmas, which is kind of like the big thing.
Yep. He plays a more violent ad for his...
Yeah. After the Lee Majors thing, Frank asks to see the promo for IBC's live Christmas Eve broadcast of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and he's not happy with it, so he shows the team his own promo for the show, which plays like an exploitative cable news ad. Yeah, it's like pretty ridiculous. There's like got people shooting up, and there's like it's violent. And
it's
like an
atomic
exploitation
bombs
movie
going
ad,
off. Yeah. It's pretty outlandish.
And one of his employees, Elliot Loudermilk, who's played by Bobcat Goldthwait. Another great casting choice in Scrooge.
He was... How did he... Do you know his background?
Bobcat's fucking awesome.
He was a comedian,
He was a comedian. He was a complete drunk. He set the Tonight Show on fire. he got in trouble like in L.A. for that. And he had to like do like public service announcements about like fire safety.
Well, you shouldn't start fires.
Yeah. And now Bobcat Goldthwait is like an indie movie director.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he made, God Bless America and World's Greatest Dad.
Cool. I haven't seen either of those, but they're
World's
good.
Greatest Dad, the Robin Williams film that he made, is fucking amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
Cool.
So Bobcat objects to the ad, so Frank fires him. He doesn't even tell him. He just throws him out of the building.
Right.
And while he watches from a telescope.
Yeah.
This guy's a real sick fuck.
Yeah, he's pretty twisted.
Yeah. Oh, there's a Father Loves Beaver commercial. I guess it's a pretty solid pussy joke.
Yeah, that was funny. But all like there's I get this movie actually played a lot on TV, like the idea of TV. And some of the jokes went over my head because I don't think I had grown up with that type of TV into the 80s, right?
Yeah.
Like, I understand Leave It to Beaver. I understand
When
that
was
joke.
Leave It to Beaver on? This is 1988. I guess because like shows used to run forever.
And
Or this would be syndicated for a long time.
And
But,
even
like,
still-
was Leave It to Beaver still on the air in the fucking late 80s? I guess so.
no, even it doesn't matter because think of your audience who's watching that movie.
I know, but it's supposed to be a parody of like a modern. This is what NBC commercial beats like. Leave It to Beaver. It's from 20 years ago.
Sure, yeah, I guess so. But maybe it's the reboot. That's why it's just called Dad Loves Beaver.
They just
or whatever.
wanted to shoehorn in that pussy joke. Or else.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. But I think this movie is full of
we
TV
can
references.
workshop if you want to do some like late 80s TV shows and have better sex jokes.
No, I think we're nailing it. My point is, I think I would have laughed at this movie.
Instead of Matlock, it's Fat Cock.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
We
that's
could do
the porn parody.
Yeah.
No, but I think if I knew older TV better, a lot of these jokes wouldn't have gone over my head. When the two guys go ba-da-dum-pop or something at some point, and it's like that is a reference to a movie or to a TV show, most likely. But I didn't get it, and
Yeah,
so
real-
the
real
comedy
boomer shit.
was like lost on me for I think a number of jokes that were built into it that it went over my head, and I didn't even realize that it was like a reference to Leave It to Beaver or Mr. Ed or whatever the hell show of the past or Happy Days, whatever was playing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, this movie's a little bit kind of like an anti-TV movie. It's almost about like how shitty and worthless TV is.
yeah, while still paying homage to all this TV as the joke, right?
So Frank goes through his Christmas list with his assistant Grace, played by Alfre Woodard, and he sends all the famous and powerful people he knows VCRs, and everyone else, including his own brother, gets monogrammed IBC towels.
I could always use a nice towel.
This character, this movie is just like, it feels like a play because the characters are so on the nose and like over the top.
Yeah,
There's just no subtlety or anything to him. And I guess that's appropriate.
And honestly, Bill's performance is kind of flat. Like, he doesn't really have, like... I mean, he's big and, like, he screams and he does weird things, but never am I actually worried that he's worried. I don't feel like he's acting necessarily.
He's not a very believable character.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. He's just crazy, but is he, like, evil or is he good? Like, I just don't understand where he's coming from.
It's like, you know, he's an asshole and everyone's scared of him and he rules by fear. But then he's also making silly jokes. It's like...
Yeah, he's making silly jokes all the time.
It's like, you know, doesn't seem like the guy would do that.
Right.
Frank's boss, played by Robert Mitchum, another fucking great casting, brings in another employee to assist Frank, and this is Bryce Cummings, played by John Glover. And this guy I've literally only seen play like villainous rich guys in movies.
Yeah, he's the boat club man.
Yeah,
just
there's
white
just
guy
a very
with the hair.
untrustworthy quality to this man. He always plays this
Like big fake smile.
Yeah, right.
What milk toast piece of shit.
Yeah. On December 23rd, Frank is visited by the ghost of his mentor, Lou Hayward, who's played by John Forsythe. And Hayward is an unloved miser who died from a heart attack 7 years prior. Fucking amazing makeup effects.
Oh yeah,
on this first ghost.
This sequence was really.
This sequence is great. Bill Murray shoots him a bunch, and they do a gag where like his cocktail pours out of the bullet holes.
Which, you know, that's classic.
Classic like Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. You didn't drink that much liquid that would just dribble out. Even if he did drink like a shit ton, it's not gonna come out of the top of your chest. You're not your belly's down in your belly. Anyway.
Yeah.
But Looney Tunes, right?
It's very cartoony.
A mouse pushes a golf ball out of a hole in his head, and it's fun. Really good effects.
Yeah, and there's a great sequence where like Hayward hangs Frank out of the high rise, and like his arm just disintegrates.
Yeah, he starts ripping chunks off.
Special effect. It looks so amazing.
Yeah.
I wish the rest of Scrooged held up to this first ghost encounter.
Yeah, right.
It's so good.
It does some things here and there that are pretty good, but I think this is a strong.
Yeah, I think this,
and I think that might be kind of like all of Scrooge. Like it starts out pretty strong, and then it kind of just goes with whatever they had.
Yeah. I think they almost won an Academy Award for Best Makeup. They lost to Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice
also
pretty
had
good.
pretty great practical effects that year.
It really did. Do we mention Marion Ravenwood already?
Who's Marion Ravenwood?
The only other role I've seen that actress, Alan, what's her name?
Alfre Woodard?
The Frank's love interest, Bill's love interest.
Oh, no. Yeah, I know she's in a few things, but I haven't gotten to her yet.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about her later.
So Lou warns Frank that there's 3 more ghosts will appear to him over the next day to help Frank avoid the same fate as he did. I guess Lou died alone without friends and family, and that's the fate he wants Frank to avoid. So before Lou vanishes, he dials up Claire Phillips, or I guess that's the implication. It looks like the phone just dials itself. Mm-hmm. And then Frank leaves a voicemail desperately pleading for Claire to call him back. And Claire is played by Karen Allen. This is Frank's former girlfriend, and she shows up to the Christmas Carol rehearsal looking for Frank. And the whole thing is kind of weird. It's like they haven't seen each other in 15 years, but they act like they saw each other a few months ago.
Right.
They don't really seem that distant, which I guess maybe that's the point.
Yeah. I also...
This whole romance angle feels like shoehorned in.
Well, I think, she's supposed to be... I don't know if she's been waiting for him, but that was the impression I got watching it this time.
Oh, okay.
That they had a nice relationship, and then she hasn't
15 years later?
Is it 15 years? Yeah. It's not just 5 years, it's 15 years.
It's 15 years later.
Jiminy Christmas.
It doesn't really make a lot of sense. And Frank hasn't even seen one of the 3 ghosts yet. He's frantically begging this woman to see him. And I guess it's because he was scared of the ghost. But it just feels like they took the Christmas Carol and tried to like shoehorn in like a romantic comedy.
Romantic thing. I mean, Ebenezer in the original has like
old.
In the past he has a romantic interest.
Yeah, and he fucks it up. But this is like, I guess the Scrooge is a little bit younger, so they want to try to like have him land the girl at the end.
Yeah, sure.
I think it kind of fucks up the movie.
A little bit.
And this is my main criticism of Scrooge. I want to see more of the stuff with the ghosts and Frank being mean to his employees, and the romance angle wedged in there. It really just takes away from the comedy.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
they're trying to give it that heart, that Christmas, that Hallmark Christmas heart with a button.
I think Richard Donner just didn't get comedy, and he kind of like flattened out the movie a lot.
You haven't seen Goonies or Lethal Weapons?
Yeah, I mean they're funny, but it's different.
No, they're not comedies.
Yeah,
they're not comedies. They're action adventures.
Yeah. So Frank's commercial for the live Christmas Carol broadcast kills an elderly woman. And he's delighted about all the free press that it will get him.
Because she had a heart attack, or it's too intense?
I don't know. I guess a heart attack?
Yeah.
I think that's what they said. Unless she's fucking epileptic or some shit.
Right. Did have a lot of
Epilepsy?
flashing lights.
Yeah.
They have
Didn't
tests
the fucking
now.
Enter Sandman video like give people epileptic fits
Did
back
it?
in the day? I think so. It's like all strobe lights.
Just put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Maybe that's it.
Maybe you're epileptic.
Hopefully not. Yeah, epilepsy. Horrible. I'm so sorry for anybody who experiences that. Like it's.
I'm not, Russ. We've been kowtowing to these epileptics way too long. We need to fucking knock them down a peg.
Time to bring flashing back to the screen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just flicker.
That is funny though, to think that like you could just kind of like flash your cell phone at somebody and make them pass out. So there's a scene on set where Frank is arguing with the censor over the dancers' outfits, and you could just like clearly see the outer edge of the performer's nipple.
Was this?
This is PG-13.
Was this cut from the TV version? I don't remember seeing areola.
Maybe they just cut
never
around it or
cut
cropped
into
the angle or didn't cut to the dancer or something. I feel like this was in the TV version.
Or did like a TV version, like shot an alternate TV take of this?
I don't know.
They do that sometimes.
They do, but I don't know if they would have done that all the way back then. Maybe. So the censor is a very conservative-looking woman, and she's knocked unconscious by a crew member moving a streetlight prop. And then it becomes like a running gag for her to get continually injured over and over again throughout the film.
She has a catchphrase too. Oh shit!
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, you got to assume the filmmakers aren't big fans of censorship.
Right. Because that's, I guess, the joke here. Beat up the censor lady.
I personally don't support any jokes that punch down, as they say, so this segment isn't for me. Okay. But, you know.
Zang.
This used to be kind of a thing. You could just, like, beat up a woman. Also, you know, at the end, you know, when she rapes Bryce's character...
Oh,
that was a huge comedy trope.
Yeah.
The ugly woman raping the man who's like tied up.
Yep. He can't say no because he's tied up.
And everybody could have a laugh about it. He's a guy. It's like,
Yeah.
It's
No,
funny.
it was pretty uncomfortable. There's a couple of uncouth jokes like that wouldn't fly today.
Also, this actor doesn't he get raped at the end of Gremlin, or is that another guy who gets raped by Greta Gremlin? It's not the same actor.
Does he get raped by a gremlin? I don't remember.
I thought so.
Number
it might be
2.
a different actor. I might just be confusing him because I know he's in Gremlins 2.
Yeah.
But somebody at the end of Gremlins 2 gets like raped by Greta
Molested
Gremlin.
by a gremlin. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Gross.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Ace Ventura 2 the other day. The bad guy at the end of that gets raped by a gorilla.
What about Robin Hood Men in Tights with Richard Lewis? He gets raped by the witch.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That was just good fun back
That's
in the day.
right. If you
Do they still do that in movies?
if you ended a movie with a woman being sexually assaulted, like as the
As a
joke,
joke?
not okay.
We have to make that movie.
No, I don't think we should, Gary. It's not the time or place for it anymore.
Well, I don't know.
nor-
What if you make the character very unlikable? You make it
well,
really.
she'll be a censor. All right, we'll make her a censor, and no, because sexual assault, it's not funny.
It's
guys.
really not
It's
funny.
not funny. It's just
It's
don't
hard
do
to make a joke out of it.
It's just like don't put that in movies as a joke. It never was funny, and not to be more woke, but if you watch a lot of these 80s movies, it's just sexual assault is just so offhanded. They just do it.
Yeah, I think the
It's
one that
just
people
like-
always really talk about is Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh yeah.
Where like the ending is just that the good guy in the film rapes the bad guy's girlfriend, and then she's like, "Oh, I loved that."
Oh yeah. That's not okay. That's a weird joke to
Dude,
make.
I'm not surprised. Nerds are always like they act like they're this like discriminated against class, but they're just fucking a bunch of privileged snobs.
Yeah, you hear that, nerds?
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you, nerds.
I used to beat you up in high school. Yeah, I'm tough. I'm like
I didn't beat up
6'7",
anybody.
and I got a huge dick.
Oh, that's Russ. Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm gonna have sex with your girlfriend, whether she likes it or not, but she'll like it.
No, the nerds are the one who raped the girl.
Oh yeah,
That's
wait,
the thing about Revenge of the Nerds. It's like supposed to be like, oh, these jocks are pieces of shit. Like, no, the fucking nerds are sociopathic rapists who like they put cameras in the girls' locker room and they fucking rape a cheerleader, and we're supposed to cheer for them like they're fucking good guys.
Ugh.
Maybe they should have learned how to play sports so they can get a woman,
Is
who
it-
wants to have sex with them. These fucking
Is that their revenge?
yeah, that's their revenge. It's rape and exploitation of women. And Russ loves it.
Nerds.
Russ served. That's a joke. I love turn it on, Russ.
One star. Revenge of the Nerds.
1 star for Revenge of the Nerds.
Actually, that's a nope. That's a no for me.
No stars.
A no star. Remember, I think we're doing a yes or no system now, and no.
We got to get
No
to
one.
Revenge of the Nerds. I watched the sequel to Revenge of the Nerds. Those movies fall off pretty quick.
You're saying the first one wasn't a clusterfuck enough, and the other ones
Well,
had to just be
the
more.
sequel's even
depraved?
worse. Like they couldn't get anybody back for it.
Oh, okay.
So it's like all the lesser known
cast,
nerds. Yeah.
It's the-
So I don't want to go through the whole plot too tediously because I think everyone really knows the Christmas Carol.
You know it. He's gonna when the ghost, and then the other ghost, and the other ghost. But we should touch upon a couple things. I'm gonna let you lead it, and I'll comment when.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about the 3 ghosts, which I find to be pretty disappointing after the first encounter with Lou Hayward.
Oh yeah, he's great.
So next, Frank is visited by the ghost of Christmas Past, who's played by David Johansen, who apparently was the lead singer of the New York Dolls.
No.
I had no idea. Also, I guess Sam Kinison was considered for this role, and that would have been very
interesting.
Yeah.
Just screaming the whole time.
Right?
Although they probably would have had to do less makeup on Sam.
Well, that's the thing. This guy, like, he's
He looks
supposed to
great.
be a ghost. Is he? Does he look great? He looks like he has red eyes and he has brown teeth.
But like he's got like he's got all this veining, like busted blood vessels in his face.
Okay.
It's the makeup in this movie is kind of theatrical. They do way too many close-ups on pockmarked our lead there, and now we got this
Yeah.
new ghost, and the makeup's pretty theatrical. But
Yeah,
it
Bill
worked for
Murray's
me.
face looks
I
like the
this.
fucking surface of the moon.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you got to shoot him so tight?
It's Danny Trejo over here, but with a worse hairline.
Yeah. Great practical effects in this movie. Could they get some fucking makeup on Bill Murray?
Little Bondo filler.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like this first ghost. I thought the look
Okay.
looked good. He
Definitely
looked like he
a
was
good
chewing
performance from David Johansen. He takes Frank to see his past and He sees his distant father, who's played by Bill Murray's brother, Brian Doyle Murray. And this scene shows how Frank found solace in television while being raised by a distant father. Mm-hmm. How he'd fallen in love with Claire, but lost her when he prioritized his television career over her.
Yeah. No, I mean, all pretty sad stuff. It kind of pulled on my heartstrings. I felt for him, kind of. You know?
Yeah.
It wasn't unsuccessful of a journey through the past.
Yeah. So the ghost of Christmas Present arrives as an ethereal, sweet-voiced fairy who punches and kicks and slaps Frank to focus his attention.
Mm-hmm. This woman...
Is this like how the ghost of Christmas Present is in A Christmas Carol? It's like a fucking...
No, I think Ghost of Christmas Present's this huge... It's like a giant.
Oh, okay.
It's like a big old giant that brings you around and shows you...
This is like cheap laughs. Like, I kicked them in the nuts. It's not great.
Yeah. I'm going to slap you in the face. She goes to poke him in the eyeballs like a Three Stooges gag. And then he starts hitting back. The whole thing is pretty uncomfortable, in all honesty. And
I just don't find it very funny. It's like...
Yeah. And this woman, actually, she's played this role a number of times. I think she's like a... that's like...
She's been in a lot. So I think it's Carol Kane.
Sure, that sounds right.
And also, I heard that like they were gonna have a ballerina do the dance, and like they saw her doing it, and the rehearsal like that's funnier.
Okay.
I think this scene fucking sucks.
Yeah. And her voice is almost unintelligibly like cute and baby talk. Like I didn't understand this part of the movie.
Yeah.
I knew what was going on, but she.
Yeah.
And that was this.
So she takes Frank to Grace's apartment. And she, shows him his assistant's struggles to support her large family, including her youngest son, Calvin, who has remained mute since witnessing his father's death.
Yeah,
which I don't think they really explained very well. It's just...
No, I think it was murder, obviously.
I guess so. It's... obviously, Russ, because she's a black woman, and we know that her husband was most likely killed from gun violence. It's very...
they live in New York, Shit just happens.
It's very stereotypical and kind of stupid.
Yeah.
The ghost then shows him his brother James, who's played by Bill Murray's real-life brother John.
Oh, that's fun.
So all the brothers are in this.
That's pretty good.
James is spending a humble yet festive Christmas with a group of friends and his wife Wendy.
Yeah, classic. That's what his brother did in the other thing.
Hilarious. This little kid can't talk, and this guy's got a nice family.
He's got a nice family, and he doesn't know what the name of the ship was on Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
He doesn't know any TV trivia, whereas Frank knows it all. Frank? Yeah. That's his name?
Yeah, it's Frank.
Oh, okay, good.
That's the Ebenezer Scrooge of this film.
Yeah, okay.
And before the ghost of Christmas Future can get to Frank, a disgruntled Elliot Loudermilk shows up with a shotgun.
Right.
And now, he's drunk and he's disgruntled. And I guess this is kind of like a play on the whole going postal thing, which I think was kind of in the air in the late 80s. It was a lot cuter than the modern active shooter phenomenon that we deal with.
Yeah. Also,
it was a couple post guys went nuts. Not
nuts.
Every week a school gets shot.
Right. Yeah, so even this joke is kind of not super funny necessarily.
I mean, it's all should be all fodder for comedy. The thing that's interesting is that he's got a shotgun. How the fuck has he missed this dude?
Right.
Shotgun.
He's drunk, Gary.
He is drunk.
He drank one bottle of.
And he's doing the real heavy Bobcat thing, which is basically pretending to be drunk.
I'm drunk.
That was the character. Right?
He's a Barney. He's Barney from Simpsons.
Yeah. Frank escapes into an elevator with the ghost of Christmas Future. And, I guess the ghost of Christmas Future is basically just death, which kind of makes sense. The future does mean death. Right. But also the future seems like a more positive way to look at ahead. You know what I mean? Saying it like the future.
Right.
So that's kind of dark, I guess. That's how it is in the play, right?
Yeah, it's a big shadowy spirit, creature, and it's all spooky like death, and it eventually shows him a future where people are like, yeah, this guy's a fucking asshole, and I'm glad he's dead. And actually, I'm going to probably loot his body afterwards. So fuck him. Let's go piss on this dead guy's corpse.
Well,
then he's like,
they almost got Sam Kinison in this. They could have done the homosexual necrophiliac bit that he was famous for.
Oh, I don't know that bit.
Oh, you don't know that?
No, how does it go?
It's where the guy dies. He's like, finally, it's all over. It can't get much worse than that. He's like, oh no, I'm getting fucked in the end. Because it was a news story about a necrophiliac who was raping guys' bodies.
Dead bodies.
So it's like, how can anything get worse than you're getting raped?
Yeah, you're dead and you're getting violated.
Yeah.
Awful. But
Which, I mean, honestly, if you're dead, I don't think you really know what's going on. It's like,
no, your body's
I
just
give you guys, you could rape my body all you want when I'm dead.
Thanks, Gary.
You're welcome, Russ.
And now it's consent, so it's not rape anymore.
What are pals for?
Yeah.
So the future ghost.
Which, I love the design of this future ghost, by the way.
Yeah,
He's got like
there's at least some practical effects going on. He has like the deformed faces under his chest, which kind of reminds me of like a PG-13 version of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, I also
like
thought
the
Freddy
souls in his chest or whatever.
Yeah. They're not like bubbling out of his chest like pizza,
they're not R-rated.
They're hanging around his little ribs like little funny monkeys, but screaming. Yeah. And then his face is a TV, which makes sense for Frank.
Sure.
It's like his future is, death TV. Or whatever.
Yeah, the future ghost is pretty cool. And then he shows Frank his own cremation ceremony with only James and Wendy in attendance.
But also, all right, so here's my problem with this. All right, so great. James and his wife are there, or his brother and his wife are there.
Do you stand there when they burn the casket?
It doesn't matter because they shouldn't even be there. Ebenezer in the story dies alone. He's upset when he hears people being like, "Yeah, fuck that old guy who died. I'm happy he's dead." And then he's like, "Who could be so hated?" And then he sees, his grave, and it's just him, and no one fucking cares about him. This one, his brother cares about him. His brother's wife cares about him.
Or she's there with his
brother. Or she's there with him. I mean, she looks sad as heck. So I don't know. Like, is he learning the lesson here? Or is he just seeing that he dies in the future?
It's like they're just showing him his death, and that freaks me. It's like, yeah, everyone's scared of death.
Yeah, but but that's not the point of the future ghost, right? It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really learning a lesson here. I think that's my point. I think this is really where the movie kind of fell apart for me because I was like, all right, well, sure, that's okay, sure.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
He comes
this
back.
Movie like really lacks laughs after this point. It's like.
Right.
Really done with the comedy. And, Frank's all freaking out. And then, like, he's in the casket. And he's going into the fire. And
his legs are catching on fire. You think it almost looked like Bill falls down the stairs earlier in the movie, and it's clearly a stunt double because the hair's completely different and he doesn't look up to camera.
Yeah.
But at this point, he's in this casket and his legs are on fire, and it looks like Bill.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if he got like a stunt bonus for this, or they just they were like, "Hey, that first stunt guy's hair, terrible. Let's make it look worse."
Yeah.
And then it'll look like Bill. But anyway,
this is a big movie, and like when you hear what Bill Murray got paid for this, it's a lot of money, but it's very small compared to what big actors get for big movies now.
Oh, I mean,
like
now is
the actor pay rate. I guess just for certain people, but for names has really gotten high. I guess because that's like what they really sell the movie on, and they have a lot of power now. It's interesting because you can kind of see it through the 70s and 80s. Like in the 70s, man, actors did not get paid that much.
No.
And then the 80s, they start getting pretty high with like Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
Well,
and
again,
shit.
I think that's what we were saying earlier, that people, they started being a star vehicle. You'd see a movie because Eddie Murphy's in it.
I think it was in the golden age too, but like,
oh sure,
they just
Errol Flynn's in it.
The producers were smarter about not letting the performers get their hands on Hollywood, and now it's like it's kind of happened.
Yeah,
which maybe for the better. I mean, they probably should be making the money.
Yeah, those 5 actors who are working.
Exactly.
No new ones.
Who already have more money than
no
they
new
ever
ones.
need.
Don't let them in.
Yeah.
We'll just recreate these ones.
No, they're going to do
again.
CGI Tom Cruise forever.
They're already doing that.
Yeah. Where am I?
He's been dead for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
Died backflipping out of a helicopter into a volcano. He's trying to get back to Xenu and all the other spirits locked in there.
That'd be pretty great conspiracy theory. You're like, yeah, Tom Cruise died in fucking 2013.
It's a truth.
Yeah.
It's just a conspiracy, Gary.
That's his clone. They cloned him. You know?
Yes, okay. So then Bill, he sees him burning up, and he's freaking out because he doesn't want to die.
He breaks out, and he ends up in the elevator, and he's back with Elliot, who's trying to murder him. And his demeanor has just changed now, right? He's had the switch. Because showing him his death made him a nice guy. Oh, yes. Great. So he's very selfish. He's doing this for his own reasons.
Yes. He jumps out.
And then here's what's another big plot hole in this movie, right?
Yeah.
So he offers Elliot a good job
Yep.
to like make up for everything, but then he makes Elliot do things that are going to make him lose his job. So like Elliot, why is Elliot happy? He's not going to end up with a job.
Right. He's going to end up in jail.
He's going to end up in jail.
He's the man with the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This dude is such a fucking idiot. What a pawn. He doesn't whatever his stupid boss fucking tells him to do. You know.
He's just like everyone else in America.
And then
Gary.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're all beholden to the system, you know, and the system's broken, and the little guy gets fired on Christmas, and his wife leaves him, and she takes the
little guy, he's a fucking TV executive yuppie. And like what? He's got such little money saved up that the fucking day he's fired, he's out on the
I
streets.
gotta go buy 7 bottles of whiskey and drink them on the street.
So with Elliot's help, Frank returns to the production set and he secures Bryce in a control room where he's then sexually assaulted by the censor.
As we said earlier, yeah, very
Yeah,
awkward.
yeah.
Everyone else is held at gunpoint.
Yeah.
It's not very funny. It's just more scary. I'm
Yeah.
more worried for the people because they're
Well,
drunk.
I hope you're happy,
man
Russ. This is what
with a
feminism
shotgun.
leads to. It leads to men getting tied up and raped
Great.
by these corporate, full-time career women.
Is this what you wanted, America?
Terrible.
Is this what you wanted? Scrooged warned us of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Bill, he just like stumbles onto the set.
He just apologizes on air.
He probably ripped a big line of coke, and then he goes on for what seems like a 10 or 15
This
minute
fucking
scene.
scene goes on forever.
And is it improv, Gary? It feels,
I think it is improv, yeah.
It feels improv because Bill's just like walking around, and the scene's got to be 10
And
minutes
it
long.
relies a lot on Bill Murray's charm, but man, I just don't think it works.
And at this point, why would I even care? I mean, yeah, he's been funny here and there, but he's still been an asshole, and he's still been selfish. He never learned any lessons, and I don't know. This whole last scene feels way too convenient.
Yeah, and then he begs Claire to come back to him, and she agrees, and there's a big sing-along. And
And the mute kid,
mute
he
kid says
whispers, "God bless everyone."
he does a little Tiny Tim line.
Yep.
And this is supposed to be a big moment, but it's like it's not really a big moment because they don't really do a good job explaining why Calvin can't speak.
He's
He's likable. He's like a cute kid, and the family's nice and all. But
Oh, in the future, Gary, if Bill didn't change, he would have ended up in an insane asylum. You didn't know that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was the scene, everybody. Why? Why would that have... If it seems like if Bill didn't change...
Yeah, this ending sucks, man. I'm giving this movie 2 stars.
Yeah.
Fuck Scrooged.
I'm going to give it 1 star.
Yeah.
I mean, wait, it's a De Niro comes out of the theater, he says, eh. He fucking flips you off,
Yeah.
pushes you down the stairs.
I don't know, man. It's got like great casting.
Yeah, it's
And
got good
there's good
casting.
performances, but this movie kind of sucks.
Yeah, it peaks a little bit early, and then the end's a letdown. So, yeah, I think that's where I landed, too. I do remember enjoying it. This time, it was fine. I'll give it 2 stars. Benefit of the doubt. It wasn't
about,
terrible.
like Bill Murray just not really understanding like why people liked him or what made him famous in the first place, and like, no, I got to be a serious actor.
Right.
And
No, it's because you look goofy.
I wonder
It's
if the
because you
Razor's
ate that
Edge is
turd
bad.
out of the pool in Caddyshack. That's why people think you're funny.
Yeah.
Razor's Edge, I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It flopped, though, right? Same year?
No, it was in '84. It was around the time of Ghostbusters. Yeah, it flopped hard.
Die Hard came out in 88.
Yep.
No, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like...
A lot of great movies in '88.
Wait, Donner didn't do that. That was a...
No, Donner didn't do Die Hard.
No, that was a...
McTiernan,
McTiernan.
right? Yeah. That sounds right. I know stuff.
John McTiernan.
Yeah.
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 Die Hard. Die Hard. Now, that's a good movie.
Oh, is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Ooh, yes. Gremlins is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. If it takes place on Christmas, it's a Christmas movie.
They just speak to our lack of culture. That like our Christmas traditions are becoming Die Hard and Santa Claus with a fucking machine gun.
Well,
That's America
Wait,
for you guys. You get Coca-Cola Santa Claus holding a machine gun.
yeah.
That is
yeah.
your country.
Did Die Hard come out before this movie then this year? In that same year?
I'm
Is
assuming
that
Die Hard is probably a summer film.
Yeah, right. It's a summer blockbuster.
I think so.
Rather than a Christmas movie, they wouldn't. It just happens to have Christmas in it. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny that this movie would come out the same year. And you think that was intentional? You think they heard there's like a big action movie on Christmas?
No, I think they wanted to do Scrooged for a long time with Bill Murray, and he was just like, I don't want to do it. I'm taking my hiatus, and then he finally just got to it in '88.
Okay.
But, it wasn't a huge success at the box office. It did good, which also is very funny when they're like, oh, it was just a moderate success. And you look at the numbers, and it made like $100 million worldwide. It's like, that sounds pretty good.
That's
for
like a lot
a movie
of money.
that cost $30 million.
Yeah, that's a $70 million return on investment.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess they're thinking of like Ghostbusters, which was a
and that just keeps making
financial
money.
powerhouse.
They had cartoon spin-offs, action figure spin-offs. You're not going to make action figures of Scrooged. You're not going to make a cartoon spin-off of Scrooge.
Yeah, and wasn't Ghostbusters R? Or is it PG-13? I guess it is
That's
PG-13.
PG-13.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, he gets blown by a ghost, but not really on
he
screen.
he does get sucked off by a ghost.
And Slimer spreads his ass.
Ironically enough, it's not Slimer, but
yeah, he eats Bill Murray's butthole for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of the Ghostbusters XX parody.
Yeah, maybe we should get to Ghostbusters. I don't know. I feel like there's already been a lot of media about Ghostbusters. I feel like I don't know if I've ever seen Ghostbusters 2 not on TV, and it kind of sucks on TV.
Yeah,
We
because
should
there's
watch the real version.
commercials.
It's like the edited, shitty cable version.
Sure. For time. Allotted for time. Well, speaking of allotted for time, we spent a lot of time talking about this movie. You should go check out our other podcasts.
Yeah, and if you guys are listening to this on audio platforms, go check out our YouTube, because there's episodes on there that we haven't put out as audio podcasts, and there's lots of extra stuff.
Yeah. And we're just keep making content for you people out there. So thank you so
and
much.
Make sure you subscribe to Russ's OnlyFans.
Yes. It's what's the joke here? What's the joke
know,
here?
Russ.
What's my angle?
What's a really silly OnlyFans angle? Like you just do RoboCop themed videos.
RoboCop?
Yeah, RoboCop. It's just you in a cardboard RoboCop costume.
My
in
dick
your
goes.
apartment. 900,000 subscribers, guys. He's doing pretty good.
Top 1%
He's
of
bringing in the
OnlyFans.
same amount of money as a small country. It's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, I do this podcast for fun.
Yeah.
Not for money. Wait, that's true. Wait, that is true. For now, people. For now. But anyway, Scrooged. 2 stars.
2 stars.
Thanks.
Yeah, we'll be back probably not next week, but the week after.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
And for those of you who are listening, not as it comes out, we'll be back.
Yeah,
We'll
the
be
people
back.
in the future.
Yeah.
Russ, we're talking to people in the future.
Oh, the ghost of Christmas future?
Yeah, we're the ghost of Christmas past.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
But also ghost of Christmas presently.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang, we're all the ghosts. We're like Scrooged, but better.
Exactly.
Worse hairlines.
Anything's better than Scrooge. Yeah, definitely worse hairlines. All right. Later, guys.